Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. Love me, I know you do. Anyway. We need to panic. Like, there is no choice. We need to panic about this. This is I'm just kidding. This is not that big of a deal. Should we panic about this? Forge World is discontinuing a lot of their, well, individual squads, which is kind of a big deal. And it kind of sucks in a way. So, what are the reasons that this is happening? Like, what could be some of the causes for this? Vicky, I'm getting a lot of feedback from you. Can you go to push to talk?
I don't see anything even happening.
Yeah, I can hear it though. Anyway. So, what happened? Why are these items being discontinued? Why are they on last chance to buy? Why are the guard gone? Well, let's ask a few questions. Is it ChinaCast's fault? You guys are stealing. You know this. You shouldn't be stealing. That is wrong. No. It's really not. If you're getting stuff through ChinaCast, it's probably because you don't live in Europe and Forge World's prices are expensive. And getting alternatives seems to be the easiest way. In fact, a lot of people who have Forge World units are buying them off of eBay and buying them off of other websites and things like that to try to get as good of a deal as possible. But is that really the problem? No. No, it isn't. Most players who play 40k, who buy Horus Heresy stuff, who play Forge World stuff, are, for the most part, buying the legit models. They're not really going for ChinaCast. Those that do, whatever. So, is that really the problem? I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see it. GW is really good at shutting down those sites for IP problems. Things like Shapeways and things like that. Well, not Shapeways. Shapeways has actually gotten away with it for quite a while. But why are they doing this? What is the reason that they're doing this? Why get rid of the Emperor's Children? Why get rid of the Word Bearers? I always say World Burners. Why get rid of the Sons of Horus? Why get rid of all of the legions? Well, pretty simple. They're consolidating them into individual tactical squads is the easiest reason. Instead of buying heads, bodies, shoulders, tactical marines, now you could just buy tactical marines of the Wordbearer Legion. This is more than likely what's going to come out soon. Maybe you want to buy an Emperor's Children squad. There you go. I personally think this is a good move on GW's part. Like, if you have the Marines now and you want to buy these things, buy them now. But if not, it's kind of not really a problem. You're going to still be able to buy these guys in the near future. And I personally think they're probably going to move the Elysians and the Death Corps to GW, since GW doesn't really have anything going for like the Krieg or anything, and no one really buys IG aside from tanks. Let's be honest, they only have 2 sets of IG that are in mass infantry, because nobody's buying the Vistorians. I'm sorry, like, they're awesome, but nobody is buying them as much as they're buying, like, the Cadians or the Catachans. So I see this as a good move for Forge World. Consolidate their products, make it easier for the consumer to buy, and things like that. We're not seeing a discontinuation in weapons or armor. Weapons, I didn't mean to say armor. We're not seeing a discontinuation in the certain suits and things like that. We're just seeing a discontinuation in the Legion-specific things. This way, they can consolidate them all into individual boxes and sell them like that. Personally, I think that's a really, really good idea. Like, if you want the Space Wolves, you now don't need to spend $1,000 to get the Space Wolf Tactical Squad. They do this with all of the Legions, of course. And as we go down, they do this with the individual shoulder pads, the bodies, the legs, the heads. Oh, not the legs. And then they have the Cataphractii shoulder pads and everything being discontinued. I personally see the Cataphractii moving over to Games Workshop being sold a lot more than the ones that are on Forge World. So it only makes sense that they would discontinue these and probably do unique boxes for each individual legion. Yeah, let's just keep going down. Also, they're getting rid of the transfer sheets. Personally, I never really liked the transfer sheets. They're really tough to use, and I'm just god-awful with them, and they always look like somebody put a stupid sticker on the vehicle or whatever. I'm bad at using transfers. That's pretty much it. Are these models gone forever? No, they'll be back soon. That's pretty much it. Like, I could cover this whole topic in 5 minutes. It's really simple. And I don't really see this as that big of a deal. It's not like they're getting rid of, like, the missile launchers or the autocannons or anything actually unique to each individual chapter. Like, if you notice, the individual chapter terminators, like the... Excuse me, I'm dying. They're not getting rid of the Phoenix Guard Terminators. They're not getting rid of the Death Shroud Terminators. They're only getting rid of the box sets that have to do with the individual Tactical Marines, which can easily be replaced. Saying. Just saying. They're also not getting rid of some of the cooler units, like the Sicarian Battle Tank, the Spartan, and a bunch of the other things in their arsenal. Just Tactical Marines. And to be honest, if you're playing Horus Heresy or you wanted to buy these Marines already, you more than likely already have. Yep. There's not really much to say. So let's get into a few of the questions that have been asked already in the chat and see what you guys have to say about this. So, Prite, Vigay?
The only question that I really see, except somebody pointing out that it's only the torsos for Mark II and shoulder pads that are going. God damn it, I can speak English, I promise.
Yeah, it is only Mark II, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And Sexual Yeti asked, Alexis, do you think that Games Workshop will be making a specialist game based on Horus Heresy?
I really hope they don't, to be honest.
Aren't, like, Betrayal at Callus and Burning of Prospero, like...
They are individual games themselves, but nobody ever plays them. They just bought them for the models.
Yeah, I mean...
I actually played the Titan Fight game. That one was really fun.
Titan Fight?
There was a box set that contained two Titans, and they actually fight each other.
You mean the Night Fight?
Yeah, Titan Fight. I know they're knights, and knights aren't technically titans, but whatever.
Night Titan.
Yep. Anyway.
Question. Do you think they're going to get rid of the Death Corps with them discontinuing drop troops? Well,
no.
Moving them.
No. I personally think they're going to be moving them because Games Workshop actually has the IP for them. A lot of people don't know this. The IP for the Catachans, the Cadians, and pretty much all of these normal guard that you see on Games Workshop, there's kind of an IP fight there-ish thing. How to say this? A company has the IP to them, but they work very closely with Games Workshop. So it's kind of like Games Workshop can't just make new guardsmen because this other person owns the IP for it, but the person with the IP allows them to sell the models that they have. Yeah. So them moving over the Death Corps of Krieg, the Elysian Drop Troops, and, well, I think it's just those two for right now. It's kind of a good move on their part, because, let's be honest, the Death Corps of Krieg models that you get from Forge World are horrible garbage, and they look terrible, and they require a lot of cleaning. In fact, I have a few of them somewhere, because I was going to start the Death Corps of Krieg instead of my Chem Dogs, and I hated them. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the Death Corps of Krieg and the Elysian models, they're a lot smaller than normal guardsmen, they're a lot flimsier than normal guardsmen, and they kinda looked really bad if you didn't clean them up properly. Also, if you noticed from the Elysians and Deathcore, they didn't get rid of their unique things like the Salamander tank for the Deathcore and the Elysian style Sentinel with the multi-melta. Or their car.
The Tauros?
Yeah. They didn't get rid of those either.
Not so much a question, but I am building the knit drop pod, and you are totally right. It does look like a ball sack.
Yes, it does. That thing is just a testicle with a pine cone shoved around it. Hashtag pinecone testicle.
Question, do you think they might be making room for newer things on the site? That doesn't make much sense.
Oh, of course. Yeah, every website has a set amount of space that they're allowed to use, so them consolidating a bunch of things into one product for ease of buying is something that bigger companies do actually do. So, yeah, they could be bringing out a whole bunch of new models. Like, I know our website for Games of Plunder only has so much space because of how much of the... I don't know technical terms, I am sorry, but it only has a certain amount of space, and we're only allotted, well, a certain amount of pages. So Forge World could be under the same thing.
Well, I'm guessing they have way more money?
They do, but they're still a business, so they're going to try to cut costs.
Yeah, but, never mind.
It's just a business move. Okay.
Let's see.
According to a Forge World person on the IC's Facebook group called Tuttle said this guy knows what he's talking about. So that's good enough for me. Simply due to this is simply due to sales. The sky isn't falling.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. 30k Marines, individual Marines don't sell. Their cooler stuff sells, like the Sakaran battle tanks and things like that. Like, I think Forge World's top selling model ever is the Fire Raptor gunship.
Yeah, but to be fair, I buy most of my Marines from Forge World because I want the 30k world leaders.
Mm-hmm. I've also noticed that a lot of the stuff from Forge World isn't really compatible with the stuff from Games Workshop. So you have things like the Forge World legs. I got in the Forge World bionic legs a couple of weeks ago, and I simply can't use them with any torsos that I have because they're too small. So it could be due to sales. Unless that guy was an insider, it's not good enough of a source for me. I apologize about that, but I am a person that believes in hard evidence. I'm simply suggesting that this isn't the end of Horus Heresy. The Emperor dies in Infinity Wars. No, that's the DCU, honey.
Yeah. Well, there's not much more to say about this. People are making way bigger deal about this than it actually is.
Well, I see a lot of other YouTubers who are making clickbait videos, so I made a clickbait title just to get some people away from that. What the fuck? Is the sky falling?
Yes, it is.
That is a loud train. I apologize.
Haven't you heard? They're canceling all the models for Forge World.
Yes, every single one. Everything is gone. Everybody needs to panic.
Well, I saw a lot of other YouTubers start to do this, and they were screaming, cursing, carrying on. They weren't actually doing that. That's me exaggerating. And they were trying to say that this is the end of Horus Heresy and things like that because Horus Heresy is not selling. Horus Heresy isn't played that much, but they are a really good selling, they are really high selling models. And maybe not the Marines themselves, the unique Marines, because everybody kind of just went, Betrayal of Health? Cool, I'll just buy 4 boxes of this. So now I don't need tactical Marines ever. I'll just put the shoulder badge on them and be good. Or not even that, I'll just paint them up the right colors and call them that. And I never need to worry about this. Betrayal of Health was both a really, really good idea for Games Workshop, but a terrible idea for Forge World. And it made it so that these individual models are not being sold properly. There is a group that does collect these models, but They're few and far between. And for those of you that are saying Forge World, that Horus Heresy is dying, though it is not played as much, event games do sell out almost immediately. They sell out second only to the big invitationals at most events. I have been trying for every single event to get into Horus Heresy. I can't, and that kind of bums me out a little bit, because I want to field Nathaniel Garrow with the Death Guard really badly, but I can't, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah.
Yeah, not much else to say.
Well, another thing that I could talk about with, for those of you trying to get into 30K and seeing this and thinking, why get into it if nobody is going to play it? 30K is a very, very unique game in itself. It's 7th edition Warhammer 40K, minus all the bad things about 7th edition. So there's no formations, no bullshit, and there's no Tau and Eldar. You know, the garbage that no one likes. Anyway, 30K is a very fun game. It's cool to actually play big, giant narrative games throughout the Horus Heresy. So if you're a narrative junkie or a tournament player, you'll really enjoy 30K versus 40K, especially right now, because yes, in 40K you can play to the narrative of the Imperium is starting to do the booty campaign, the rebooty campaign, and yada yada yada, but overall it kind of feels like a bit stagnant, versus 30K where you could do the Betrayal of Calth, you could do the Burning of Prospero, you could do the Imperial invasion, the invasion on the Imperial Palace. You could do all of these things. Custodians don't suck. They're actually really, really good in 30K versus 40K where they're god-awful garbage that I wasted my money on. Oh yeah, and for those of you saying that this is clickbait, this is clickbait, I'm not going to lie. But this is clickbait to try to pull you away from people who are saying that this is the end of everything. We need to sacrifice 300 psychers to the Emperor so that he doesn't blink his eyes. I have no idea where I'm going with this analogy, but I got nothing. That was just bad.
But yes, you said 30K is really fun to play, and when you have people around you that play 30K as well, you can do really fun narrative games, and that's what's amazing about 30K.
You can also get the huge, and I mean huge, apocalyptic battles from 30K, which is so much fun, where you could have multiple Titans on the field, you can have mass infantry, and it is just this wall of guns fighting each other, and it's so much fun. So long as you have the fun agreement of don't shoot the Titans turn 1 so that they do get a turn of shooting, because the person who goes first is just going to take their Titans and kill your Titans. Sorry, that's just how it happens. Anything else that I really needed to go over? I mean, for my narratives and for my Space Marine chapters, I never actually used the Death Guard shoulder pad because I always played Nathaniel Garrow's flee from the Death Guard. So one of the first things that I did with my Death Guard Marines is I made it so that they don't have their sigils anymore. They scraped them off. They got rid of them. And they no longer bear allegiance to the Death Guard, but to Nathaniel Garrow instead. So I never needed the unique armament, but that was my narrative. Also got my nails done, and they look fantastic. I found bolt gun metal. Yeah, that is so cool, isn't it? I was so happy about that. Wait, Custodian Guard can be good? Yes, in 30K, they could be excellent. But in 40K, they're kind of easy to manipulate garbage. Now, I don't really think that there's anything else to really talk about this. So if you guys have any questions, please ask right now. So we can keep the conversation going, keep it, yeah, keep it alive.
Not really a question, but my girlfriend said you're the only cool Warhammer 40k channel on YouTube.
No, I thank you. I try my best. There's also this other YouTuber that I think you should check out. Her name is Riley. She goes by Mope. And you should totally check out her channel. She does painting, very long painting videos, very in-depth painting videos. The link to her channel is in the description down below. She's a really good friend of mine. Totally check out her channel.
The link to our channel is not in the description.
Oh, it'll be in the description once this video is up.
Question: do you think it's still worth buying some Salamander stuff just to have if you're starting to collect 40k and 30k stuff?
Oh, of course. If you have the option to buy it now, you might as well. Like, get a few sets of these, even if you don't build Tactical Marines, which I don't know why you ever would, but if you're building for a narrative, yes, get them now. You could also make some really cool veterans out of them, and some really cool captains and characters with the individual salamander armor. I think that could be really cool.
So Fortrell is cutting down Space Marine spam for just 30k, so I can still get a Cobra and Shadow Specters.
Yeah, right. No, Cobras and Shadow Specters are pretty much always sold out. They are just god tier. I hate them so much.
At EgoqueenAlexis, where the hell is my plastic trench coat guard? Where we're getting plastic sisters that invent plastic trench coat guard.
You know what? You can wait. You can honestly wait. We can get plastic sisters first. They should take priority, especially over anything Primaris related or anything Xenos related, because Xenos are icky. And I'm pretty sure loyalist or heretic alike, we can both agree on that. Xenocide is perfectly fine in the Imperium and in Chaos. But I digress.
What do you think of stories or games set during the dark age of technology?
I don't think that there's enough information about the Dark Age of technology, and I think it's meant to be that. Otherwise, it would just be Necromunda with Techno-Barbarians. And yes, that does sound awesome, because Techno-Barbarians were probably on the same level as Custodians. Because the Emperor needed the Thunder Warriors to actually take them out, and Thunder Warriors were stronger than Custodians, according to Josh Reynolds. We had him in a podcast. He said that. I'm going to believe the author. But you play Xenos. Shush your face, you don't know that. I do play Tyranids, though. I used to play Orks, and I plan to expand into Tau next, after I do some Slanesh. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Anywho.
The Salamander guy followed up with what kind of stuff he should get. I'm not sure.
Oh, I mean, for Salamanders, yeah, let's go through this. Well, first off, maybe like 2 or 3 of these, if you really want to get them. Personally, you only need the shoulder pads and the bodies themselves. From there, you just go over to your individual units, and you got really nothing. All you need is flamethrowers, and that's really it. The Salamanders are pretty easy to do. So yeah, all you need is this. Salamander upgrade sprue. Yep.
Get them while they're hot.
Yeah, and if you want, you can actually buy... Let's go ahead and get rid of that. You can go ahead and buy the heavy weapons and special weapon bundles, so you can get all the flamers and all the meltas and heavy flamers and multi-meltas that you need. So
I demand recognition for my bad pun.
What was the bad pun? I wasn't listening.
You were talking about what salamanders to buy, and I said get them while they're hot.
Oh my god, you're terrible, and you should feel bad. Oh, you're terrible.
Went straight over your head.
Yeah.
I got another question here. Do you think this is the start of Games Workshop creating a new 8th edition Horus Heresy to make the 2 games easier to maintain?
No. The community was very strict on keeping the community, not Forge World, not the Games Workshop crew, but the community was very strict on keeping Horus Heresy 7th edition and making the new changes and everything to 8th edition. But they were very strict on 7th edition, so they are not going to merge, but the models can be used interchangeably. Think about old Fantasy and really old 40k, how they were interchangeable. That's how they want this game. And yes, that was a thing.
Yeah, you can even get a chainsword in Fantasy. It was great.
Yep. And a lasgun. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Or an Imperial Shuriken pistol. Yeah, because those are a thing.
Yeah.
First and second edition were dumb. Okay.
Damn.
No, it was fun. I mean, it was really fun having a chainsword in Fantasy.
Let's see. Going through the questions really quickly. Why would they stop producing Legion exclusive upgrades? I actually covered this in the beginning. They're going to make Legion specific tactical squads to consolidate all the products. It's really that simple. And it makes, to be honest, it's a better business move anyway, especially if tactical marines themselves are not selling well. Why not try to bundle them together and sell them like that? And I don't mean GW's style of bundling where they're like, oh, it's a one-click buy army. You save absolutely nothing, but it's a one-click buy army. No, no. So you're going to get like World Bearer Tactical Marines. You're going to get Emperor Children Tactical Marines. You're going to get Sons of Horus Tactical Marines. And things of that nature. Actually, I wonder.
World Bearers?
Did I say it again?
You did it again. Wait, what about the Word Eaters?
They just run around to libraries eating books.
No, that's Lorgar on Fridays.
Oh my God,
enters a library and starts chewing on books.
So, like, going through the Death Guard, for instance, we can see the stuff that's on Last Chance Buy. It's this and nothing else. So, the game itself is not going anywhere. In fact, Grave Warden Terminators, Death Shroud, not going anywhere. Their Legion-specific Contemptor Dreadnought, not going anywhere. The Legion-specific Torsos, yeah, those are leaving. But it makes sense to consolidate them into tactical squads. So, yeah, just saying. I want this. I want this really badly. Anyway.
A question. Why did they separate Fantasy and 40k?
In the beginning, they were somewhat similar, but then they branched because they wanted to make 40k its own thing.
Because 40k was the better selling game.
Well, thanks to Fantasy, 40k exists, so that there's that.
Yeah. They separated it because space squats weren't fun, or space doors weren't fun.
Let's see.
So they decided to get creative.
I like Yeti's question.
Could the new Plastic Sisters possibly mean Primary Sisters?
Primary Sisters, probably not, but Augmented Sisters of Battle? Maybe. It really depends on what Gilliman thinks the sororitas should be doing. Technically, well, I can't say technically. He's not in control of the ecclesiarchy. But he is the one in charge of the Imperium at the current moment. So if he decides, hey, sororitas, you're cool. I don't like your devotion to the Emperor as a god, but right now I can see the strategic uses of you girls. Let's go ahead and augment you with some new organs and everything to make you tougher. Now, I wouldn't say Primaris Space Marine levels of tough, but a bigger sister variant could be interesting. And no, I'm not saying a sister battle into a Space Marine. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying a more survivable sister battle. Preferably one that doesn't get slaughtered in the stories.
They always will.
That's such a cool rhino.
Apparently, Magnus is a bestseller. Huh.
Yeah, I kind of doubt this list. I can see the Spartan on this list. I cannot see the Warlord on this list. I can see the Leviathan Dreadnought because that sells really well. The Storm Eagle and the Fire Raptor and the Legion Sakaran on this list. I can't see any of the others, like, as bestsellers. That just seems silly.
I mean, if they're going by money made, it's probably correct.
Yeah, that's true enough. All right. What other questions do we have?
To reiterate, no, Horus Heresy is not dead.
Yeah.
The title is somewhat misleading.
Do you think Forge Worlds will ever make a Sanguinius model? Yes. I think there's, what, 3 Primarchs left?
Yeah.
Sanguinius, Lion, and Yagate Khan. Yagate.
Let's see.
How did the Sororitas think about the Loyalist Primarchs? They worship them as gods, as demigods. Hell, they worship, what's his name? Mephiston as a saint, as a living saint. Now, that doesn't entirely mean he is a living saint, though his feats would suggest otherwise, but still. That would be rather interesting if he was a living saint the entire time.
Doubtful.
Well, I mean, he got crushed to death, and he emerges on wings of blood from a bastion that exploded, leading his men to victory. Flying.
Yeah, all the Blood Angel librarians can do that.
Well,
Just
not all of them. But,
I mean,
yeah.
they can get the Wings of Sanguinius power, so they can fly.
It would be kind of cool to see him as a living saint.
Not necessary.
Not necessary, but still cool. Celestine X Sly Marbo? Absolutely not.
She would never see it coming. Hey-oh.
You see, Celestine is already taken by Karn.
For now. When the Imperium needs her most, she'll return. Okay. Should the Emperor be the only god in the Imperium? Yes.
I'll have none of this questioning heresy, thank you.
I mean, the only other god is the Omnissiah. And let's face it, that's the same thing. Well, but some of them see it as different, but yeah, same thing.
But yeah. What about the Great Horned Rat?
Shush your face, Pri. No one believes in the Great Horned Rat.
Alexis, how do you think the Emperor would react to everything in the Imperium as it is now? See every episode of TTS.
Honestly, no. As much as I love TTS, I personally think the Emperor would reawaken, see his Imperial subjects be really, 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 really pissed off. But again, just like Guilliman, be forced to use them to push back chaos, push back all of the Xenos factions before going through and systematically purging those that believe in him as a god, or he would just show them the truth.
But how would he convince everyone that he isn't a god?
Well, by the same way he did it before.
That didn't work.
Shush your face, Viggy. He can do it. He's the Emperor.
No. He didn't do it when he was alive. And now that everyone worships him, how is he going to do it then?
He might actually accept the worship of the people to him and only him if he can push out any other god.
Well, now everything is great.
Now you see here, Alexis, according to one person, the Great Horned Rat is the greatest god.
Stop it.
It's the best god in 40k.
Stop it. No, but I can totally see the Emperor actually reawakening, seeing the Imperium at large, and going, okay, you guys are devoted to me. That's cool. Hunky-dory pudding and pie. Let's destroy everything that isn't dedicated to the worship of me. and then will explain that my godhood is nothing more than the perfection of humanity, what every individual can become and should strive to.
So, be divine then?
Essentially, he'd be like, I'm the God Emperor of mankind, but I'm not actually a god. I am just an immortal being that you can all become. Okay.
One person, does Jesus exist in the warp?
Yeah, there was a question before that, too. And I would say probably as a minor entity, because there's not enough worship of Jesus as a god or a being on Earth to really reflect in the warp. There's enough murder on the planet to reflect in the warp, but not enough worship of Jesus.
Besides, actually, Catholicism has kind of died out.
The biggest religion on the planet still... well, I actually think it's Christianity, followed by... oh, what's that dumb one? Well, they're all dumb. I actually forgot the name of their religion. Whatever. Anyway, I don't care. Not important. Human religions aren't strong enough to actually reflect too powerfully in the warp. That's where I'm going to end with that.
Yeah, we're possibly off point.
What was that other question before that one?
Mm.
Something about Forge World getting rid of all of their product and rolling into Games Workshop. I don't think you know this, but Games Workshop is the parent company and is in control of everything that all the other companies do. It's just a really good way of splitting up a business to make as much money and write off as much as possible. It's a genius move, to be honest. A lot of companies do this. Islam. That was the name of the stupid religion. Anyway.
Sexually, does John Lennon exist in the warp?
Yes. Yes, he does.
Actually, I think for the longest time, more people worshipped, what is it? Elvis Presley than either of the crazy-ass religions. Hell, I'm pretty sure most of our famous actors are more worshipped than religious icons anymore. Alright, I'm gonna stop, because I can feel a disturbance in the warp, and Logar is pissed right now. He is getting his word eaters to come after me. I'm sorry.
That is possibly a good place to stop.
Yeah. What the fuck, is Forge World going out of business? No. Elvis is the living Saint Wen. That would be actually pretty cool. But I could see Elvis Presley as a champion of Slaanesh. A musical champion of Slaanesh. That would actually be really cool.
This is heresy.
Your face is heresy.
I know.
Alright, with that, I think I'm going to stop here. Oh, wait, there's one more question. What is it?
How come the Emperor only emerged during M30 while he was born in like M89 BC? What the fuck did he do besides trying not hard enough to guide early human?
He was still learning. See Master of Mankind. He wanted to learn everything he could about humanity before he interfered. He wanted to see them go to their breaking point, and he wanted to save them then. And he saw what humanity can truly become when it reaches its pinnacle. And that's what he wants for humanity. He's also seen into the future and possible futures about what he needs to do and when he needs to do it. So, it's the Emperor. Like, he kind of has an idea of what he's doing. Are you still planning a trip to UK and Warhammer World? Yes, we are. And I say we because me and Victor are going.
Yeah.
We still need to move him here and then us move down to Arizona, get settled, get some money saved up, and then we'll fly over. That's the plan.
Tis the best of planned.
I'm probably going to take a trank and knock myself out for the entire flight over. Because I can't sleep on planes normally. I can't sleep normally. Holy crap, I gotta get ready for work.
You should do that.
Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this video. To wrap up, this doesn't spell the end for Forge World. This is not a doomsday thing. It is might be better in the future. We need to see and watch and see what happens. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.